Hey guys, so today I'm going to show you how to make a shopping cart on your e-commerce website. And see how I have like a plus button, it'll increase the quantity. The minus button will get rid of the quantity, because how I have it is, if you just add these to your cart, it goes into a cookie, which I have established inside here. Go to localhost, go to cookies, and here's my cart cookie, blah, 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 blah. There it is. So, going back to my cart page, so if I have one quantity and you hit the minus, it will remove the item. But otherwise, it will subtract from the quantity, and like I said, the other way around. So, all this code is on my GitHub. I have a link in the description, including the CSS and the Stripe integration, which you see down here, but that's not what this video is about. So I'm gonna start like this, and we'll work our way to this without the Stripe. So right here, we got nothing. So I want to go into the code wherever you have it in your HTML page that you want to place this. That's where we're going to put it. So as you can see, I have placed in a div inside of a div, which 3 little tags in there. So honestly, this is just a little bit modified, and I took it a few lines out of W3 Schools. If you don't know, W3 Schools is a website that has a lot of like programming examples in different languages. So I'll put a link also in the description from where this is technically from. But this is a small piece of their whole code they had. I only took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. So you can look at theirs and you'll understand it from them. But from what I did, we're going to go and save it so that we now have this. We go and reload it. Now we have a nice little box. It has the cart, has the cart icon. And the reason for that is because there is some CSS here. Because if you notice, there was a container and there was column minus 25. I think this is not relevant because this is from the W3 Schools page again. So I'll put that in the description, like I said. So all of my guys are objects, so I can access their name, price, quantity, and size as they were added into the cookie when you add it to your cart, just so you have that background knowledge. So now we're going to scroll down, and we're going to try and get them to appear in our cart. So we're going to go to our code, and I just have a script tag open on the same HTML page. And what I did was grab that cookie that those objects are being added to when they add those items to their cart. Don't know what your page does, but just however yours is, this is where mine's coming from. And so I got to parse it so it's not a string anymore. That's why it goes back and forth with JSON. So if you see, I have a function that's being called establish cart. And what that's going to do is that's going to literally just start putting in all of those items that they've added into their cart, which is therefore inside of the cookie, those cart items. So, there we go. So, what I did here was I add a for loop. And inside the for loop, I am grabbing those name, price, quantity, because like I said, they're objects originally. So then they're going to go and just remove the white space, because as you can see, oops, my bad, there's clearly spaces in the names. I'm just modifying it for the code to understand it, and this keyword got stored in that, so we could throw it into our JQuery call. So in the JQuery call, I have 2 buttons, the remove item button and the add quantity button. So at that point, it's just basically calling them in there to be seen. Item, those are my variable names that you just saw, and am inserting after my specific element that's being called on my web page. Oh, right here. Makes sense? Makes sense. Now you can see, why does that code even work? Well, because I have an onload. As soon as this body's loaded on the page, it's going to automatically establish the cart. And that is how that code is called. And obviously, as soon as you click the button, that's how remove and add quantity works. Quite simple, right? So, for this should have been simple enough. I was just grabbing how many items are in the cart so we know how long to do the for loop for. That's it for that one. Alright, so now we want to know, how do we basically remove item from cart, or remove the quantity by 1, you know. So I'm going to close this one because we programmed this one already. We're going to go in here. So remove item from cart. What we're going to do here is, I just created RI stands for remove item. Just my weird variable naming, I guess. So I'm using JQuery to get the current element that's being called. Because remember, if I did, I guess I should open it again. It was this is what that means, and that is what's being called from this. So, how does it say this? Huh. Oh, maybe you don't need to do this? I don't know. Whatever. The code works. I'll look at that later. just notice that now. So I'm gonna go in here and do a for loop for the length of how many things they have added to their cart. And obviously that's just one element at a time, so we can get his name, remove the white space, remove the ampersand, and then we go into, if that item is the item that they are indeed trying to be removed, then we can move forward, because you gotta find which one out of the list that is the one that they're trying to modify, you know. And then at that point, that's just minusing it by 1 or just deleting it entirely. Like, that was the hard part up here. So then you break out because you're done. You only do it to one item because they can't click more than one at once. Obviously, it's not possible. And turn it back into a string just to load it back into the cookie, so the cookie can have the correct information based on what they're adjusting on those pages with those buttons. And then I'm just this might be like a bad idea, whatever. I don't know. What I did was I reload the whole page just to reflect the pages. There might be a better way to do that, but at this point, add item quantity is basically just going to be kind of like the opposite. So to do, I keep clicking the wrong one. So to do add item quantity, which is generally basic, it's kind of like the same thing, really. It's just backwards. Got to clear my throat. So we got item name equals, using the JQuery. That's what this $sign is. So call the element that was called based on this. So I say the next element after that. What is its ID? And then we go for the length of how many things are in there. How many items they added to their cart? Oof, because it's in the cookie, but it's also in their cart. And they both start with C. It could be a tongue twister. So then we grab that specific item out of the list. Because of the for loop, we can grab who is one at a time. So item N is like my thing from doing item name, because I had to do it twice. And then I just replaced the ampersand with nothing, so it's just one simple string for the code to understand. And then we add the quantity to 1, because that was the whole point in this. And then we reflect that data into the cookie data list, because that's what's getting stored back into JSON, which is stored in the create cookie, which creating a cookie, I'm assuming you guys already have a cookie. If you don't, it's very simple how to create a cookie. Again, W3 Schools has, or pretty much nearly anyone online has create cookie functions. You can find it pretty much everywhere. And then again, this is how you reload the page to reflect the data. So I'm going to hit save, and I'm going to reload the page. And it looks a little scrunched, but that's something CSS could fix if you want to adjust that. But again, because like mine's kind of like already been done. But so boom, works. I can sit here and do it 6 more times. Doop, bump, bump, bump. And we're good. This is a completely functional cart, shopping cart, checkout, including implementations of adding and removing quantity and removing the item based on it being 1. And if you have any questions, comments, if you have video suggestions, you can leave them in the bottom below, and I will have this code and the W3 Schools code links in the description. And have fun programming.